Hey everybody, it's been a while, but it's time for a Doctor Who review. And I'm back for good. I'm not going to get into that. I'll get into that later. Anyway, this episode of Doctor Who is called Mummy on the Orient Express. And this episode starts off really interestingly. Like, it sort of feels like a throw to Halloween. It starts off with this old woman on this very old train, well, a flying train called the Orient Express, which is very famous, and I believe there's a real one in this world. And she ends up seeing this mummy that basically no one else can see, except for her, because she's dying. And she starts freaking out up until the point when the mummy basically grabs her head and she dies. Then the opening scene comes, and we see the Doctor and Clara walking off the TARDIS and entering the Orient Express. Now, this was actually a very big surprise for me personally, because I had no idea what had happened in between. But later, because in the previous episode, I haven't seen for a very long time, it said that Clara doesn't really want to go on adventures anymore because of the previous episode that, if you haven't seen, I will not spoil for you. In any case, they've decided that this will be their last mission together, so that they can start living separate lives, and the Doc can continue on his adventures, and Clara can live a safe, happy life with her man, Dan Pink. This ends up being not such a relaxing trip, however, when they find out that the mummy creature on the train has actually been killing people. It's later discovered that the creature goes after people that are either close to death or sick, or just in that type of category of dying. Eventually, the Doctor it ends up being revealed that, well, we don't really see who ends up who set up the whole thing, but he basically brought all the people on the train together to help solve the mystery of where this mummy came from and what actually happens. So eventually, it ends up leading the Doctor to basically put a lot of people in very death-defying situations so that they can learn about as much about the mummy as possible, which causes a good 2 people to die, which is very depressing and sad, but that happens. Eventually, he ends up figuring it out by using a girl named Maisie. He ends up using a way to transfer her distress and her depression into his own mind, which causes him to see the mummy, which finally leads him to stopping the mummy, which is something else that I will not spoil. There's also this other character called Perkins, he comes off as kind of creepy. He just kind of appears out of nowhere when the Doctor is checking out this chair that was keeping the first person that dies alive, even though she's 100 years old. And he comes out as creepy first, but then eventually he sort of joins with the Doctor, and they work together to try solving this mystery. Overall, this was actually a really good episode and really interesting, and it just, it breaks away from the usual Doctor thing with having to face monsters, which sort of isn't, but it's more of a solve a mystery kind of thing, like somebody's murdered in a house, like those classic murder mystery games that happen sometimes. Anyways, overall, it's a good episode, and if you haven't watched it, there's still 4 episodes I still have to review, but if you haven't had the time to watch it yet, go check it out. It's actually really good. Anyways, like I said, I have been I've been a major flopper in terms of my videos. I've been off and on. I can't really explain what happened to me. A lot of YouTubers sort of stop for a while, but that's usually when they have financial or family problems. That, unfortunately, was not my situation. I sort of lost my inspiration for making YouTube videos. And while that happens sometimes, and it stops me from making videos, this was probably the closest I ever came to really like choosing whether I should keep making videos or whether I should quit. Eventually I came to the decision that I'm still going to keep making videos because honestly, while it takes a lot of time to make these videos, not so much to make them but to review them, or to watch them, it's just, it's difficult. I realize how, what you might be thinking, how can watching a TV show and then writing a script and then reviewing it be difficult, but it's not so much difficult, it's just very time consuming, especially when you have a night job like myself. Anyways, I'm back, and I'm back for good. God, I have like 3 videos on my channel that say I'm back after like a brief hiatus. Anyways, I'm back for good. And keep your eyes out, because after this video, I'm also going to be catching up with my Pokemon. So keep your eyes out for more Pokemon and Doctor Who reviews, because I'm back.